Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump just dropped an absolutely massive deportation bombshell, and so right now, all of the far-left progressives are absolutely losing their minds. Now, as you might have noticed, just a few days ago, President Trump issued an order that actually upset a large portion of his base. He controversially called for all of his ICE agents to completely halt their deportation efforts at farms, restaurants, and hotels, saying that these jobs have a hard time being filled by Americans. However, after several days of pushback from all of us America First voters, President Trump has actually decided to go back on that decision. Take a look.
Breaking news we're getting right now from the Washington Post. This is a Trump reversal of a Trump reversal. I had reported that Donald Trump had decided to stop the raids in agricultural centers and other places where people are working. And the Washington Post is reporting tonight that officials from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, including its Homeland Security Investigations Division, told agency leaders in a call Monday that agents must continue conducting immigration raids at agricultural businesses, hotels, and restaurants.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The reason why President Trump is so great is because he actually listens to his base. He got a ton of pushback over his order to hold back some of these ICE raids, so in response, he changed his mind. He actually listened to all of his supporters, and so now the ICE raids at farms, restaurants, and hotels will continue full steam ahead. And now, folks, we have a lot more to talk about with all of this, but before we do, I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. But okay, check this out. Not only is President Trump resuming deportations at farms, restaurants, and hotels, industries that are full of illegal aliens, but he's also doubling down on his promise to ramp up ICE raids on sanctuary cities, sending a strong message across the country that radically progressive mayors and governors don't get to ignore federal immigration law anymore. In fact, take a look at this.
You did a post last night where you said you want ICE to really target Democrats.
Yeah, I want them to focus on the cities because the cities are where you really have what's called sanctuary cities, and that's where the people are. I look at New York, I look at Chicago. I mean, you got a really bad governor in Chicago and a bad mayor, but the governor's probably the worst in the country, Pritzker. But I look at how that city has been overrun by criminals, and New York and L.A. Look at L.A. L.A. Those people weren't from L.A. They weren't from California. Most of those people, many of those people, and that's a focus. Biden allowed 21 million people to come into our country. Of that, vast numbers of those people were murderers, killers, people from gangs, people from jails. They emptied their jails out into the U.S. Most of those people are in the cities, all blue cities, all Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
And so, folks, as you all know, everything he just said is 100% true. For decades now, these radically progressive Democrat politicians have been allowed to ignore federal immigration law, inviting illegal aliens to invade our cities, aiding and abetting them along the way, all while subsidizing their existence with U.S. taxpayer money. And as a consequence of this entire operation, all of these so-called sanctuary cities have become complete and total apocalyptic hellscapes. As you've all seen at this point, illegal alien invaders are now marching through the streets, assaulting American citizens with impunity, and they're being protected by all of their supporters on the far left. In fact, I'm not sure how many of you have seen this footage here, but if you want an example of what will happen to this entire country in the very near future if President Trump's mass deportation effort isn't successful, I've got something I want you all to take a look at. So folks, take a look at what's been going on in downtown Portland, Oregon, my own hometown, still to this very day. Literally, what I'm about to show you happened just last night. Take a look. And so, folks, this is what happens when the far-left radical progressives aren't held accountable. Not only do you end up with illegal alien invaders marching through your streets, assaulting American citizens and blowing up people's cars, but we also end up with roaming gangs of radically progressive thugs attacking federal ICE agents in broad daylight. And will any of them be held accountable? Of course not. Portland, Oregon is a sanctuary city, which means that criminals are given sanctuary, all while hardworking American taxpayers pay for all of the damage that they cause, all while being tormented on a daily basis along the way. But you know what, folks? Take a look at what Border Czar Tom Homan had to say just the other day about why the entire Democratic Party has allowed all of this to go on for so long. Take a look.
Again, it's politics over common sense. They do not want to give Trump administration a win. They don't want to admit that we're fixing what they broke. I mean, even some honest people, I watched a lot of networks, even some honest Democrats, when they get interviewed, what happened? How come you lost? And every one of them say, immigration was a big part of it. So rather than learning a lesson that national security and border security is important, President Trump has turned it around, said the complete 180, most secure border in a lifetime. They can't give him a thumbs up for that. They're not going to give him a win for that. So they're picking politics over public safety. There's no other explanation. I mean, I'm not a stupid man. I wake up every day. Why the hell would you not support taking public safety threats off the street? It's got to be politics. There's no other reason a common sense person doesn't want the laws of this country enforced.
And so, folks, everything Tom Homan just said is absolutely true. Even the more moderate centrist Democrats are still pushing back against President Trump's incredibly popular and common sense immigration plan and deportation plan because they've placed partisan politics before the needs of us American people. And so, folks, when you really stop and think about it, that is why their approval ratings are so low right now. It's because Americans nationwide know that the Democrats have effectively chosen party affiliation and their blind allegiance to defending the illegal alien invaders that they've let into the country over the American people. But as you can see, now that President Trump is back in the White House, it doesn't even matter because over here on the right side of the aisle, we are finally putting America first. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up, I do want to say real quick that we officially have a Morse News Twitter page as well as a Morse News Facebook page. So if you use either of those platforms, please go down below and drop a follow in order to get breaking news updates that relate to everything we talk about here in the YouTube videos. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video while you're down there, and like I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.